there that we can't see controls everything. When you enter a room full of people, the energy field affects you. So sometimes when people are in the room with other people, it interferes with their energy. And then when they leave, it changes. And most people's aura were different colors. And some people's auras are just one color. So the purer the person is, it was like the same color. And the more like blockages somebody has, it was different colors. And I always question everything. I'm skeptical about everything until proven otherwise.
That's amazing. And I'm quite glad that now the technology is trying to give the factual, evidence to all this, which like olden scriptures have written for us, which we still follow.
So I don't believe in like face creams, because it's like you change the skin and the cells for the time you're using the creams, and then your cells will just die and rejuvenate. So is it doing anything? But what you're saying is that you can change how your face looks just simply by vibration and how you feel. So if somebody feels great about life, often they'll look young, and if somebody's stressed and hates their life, they'll look old. So it's nothing to do with like the creams on the outside, it's to do with the inside. So if you control the frequency, then you can control how you look.
You try to avoid certain people from far because they have very busy vibrations or frequencies, and that somehow affects your own perception as well.
Just quickly, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who still listens to the podcast. I started 4 years ago, and since then I've had over 1 million downloads. I get 5,000 downloads per month, and I've had over 200 different guests. So a massive thank you to everyone who still listens. If you could please do me a favour, if you could rate and review the podcast, that will be amazing, because it helps get the podcast out to new, conscious people like yourself. And my goal is to awaken as many people around the world. You can also follow me on Instagram. It's YesKingOliver, should you wish to see what I get up to on my day-to-day moments. Back to the episode.
So the other day I went to Glastonbury in England, and that's supposed to be a very sacred, special place. And we went into a shop randomly. My friend wanted to go to a shop, and I was like, no, let's not go there. And then he went to another one. I was like, can we just go? And he was stubborn, and he led me down this little like secret alleyway where there was all these cozy little shops. And in one of the shops, there was this lady who had an aura meter reader. So you put your hand on it and it reads your aura. And it came up with the color of my aura, how far it goes out. It came up with if I'm in my mind or my body, more than the other. It said my stress levels. It said so much information that I'm like, that is incredible. It's completely accurate. And it's reading this just by my hand touching it. And it was bright purple, lilac and violet. And there was so many different measurements on there that she had never seen before. And she was like, out of like thousands of people I've done this for, you're coming up with stuff that I've not seen. And I believe that I am very grounded, and I am also very in my head. So the fact that she was saying all of that was just like, it confirmed what I'd always known. And then my friend did it, who I was with, and he was the exact opposite. And he is actually somebody who is really grounded and not in his head. So the thing is so accurate, and it's just by putting your hand on it. Now it's science tested, it's university studied, but it tells you everything about your life in just an energy reading. And I didn't know that stuff existed.
It is. When I started doing Reiki in the start, I was 16 years old when I started learning this. And I remember I didn't know anything about it. But I experienced it firsthand when I was initiated by my teacher. And she was just a lawyer. When we say that, or you are in corporate world or something like that, and they won't be, we always think that they are more money-minded and they are more, connected to the matrix. But the lady had such strong, aura and energy that when she initiated me, when she touched me, it was just vibrating in my whole body. And for that many years, I was in my college as well, and I used to do this just charity kind of a free work just to practice Reiki. And many people, when you are, hands-on healing, you are doing it. I just faced it like that, face to face. I had experienced it more. I later on, when I was like reading about it, then I found out, oh, they are actually aura readers as well. Like there's so much science is catching up to this, which is so amazing.
Yeah, and she was actually psychic as well, so it's not a coincidence how you're either tapped in or you're not. And she was psychic. She does like clairvoyant readings, but this aura thing was just, it was amazing because it literally just shows you that what's there that we can't see controls everything. When you enter a room full of people, the energy field affects you. So at the beginning, she said that sometimes when people are in the room with other people, it interferes with their energy. And then when they leave, it changes. And most people's aura were different colors. And some people's auras are just one color. So the purer the person is, it was like the same color. And the more like blockages somebody has, it was different colors. And I always question everything. I'm skeptical about everything until proven otherwise. So I don't really understand chakras. To me, it's just different energy centers in the body, and it shows as a different color and it has a different frequency. There was a picture of all my chakras, and she said none of them are blocked, and they were all massive, and they were all balanced and all equal between each other. And I was like, oh my God, I now understand and believe in chakras. And then my friend did it, and he was a little bit blocked at the moment, and his chakras were smaller, his head chakra was bigger than the other, and the chakras like towards his head were closer than the ones where it's like solar plexus is. And I was like, this is incredible. It can show you the different energy centers in your body. Like, this is madness. So I'm a big believer of chakras now.
That's amazing. And I'm quite glad that now the technology is trying to give that factual, evidence to all this, which like olden scriptures have written for us, which we still follow. It's amazing.
And recently before that, I did telekinesis randomly on a bit of polystyrene in some river. So when I was younger, I used to muck around with this stuff. And then I was like, how's this going to affect me in life? So 12 years ago, I just stopped doing all this nonsense, right? And then randomly, I was just on a walk and there was this bit of polystyrene blocked in this sticky dirt in the river. And I, as a joke, just tried to move it out, right? And when I relaxed and surrendered after really put my energy on it, the thing started to move, and I channeled it to exactly where I wanted it, and it landed in some more gunk. And then my friend said, I can't believe what just happened. Try and make it go back down a little stream where the current's going against it under a twig. And so I again tried it, and I was like, oh, I've just used all my chi, it's gone. So we started to walk off, and I looked back and it was moving, going in the exact place where I tried to get it to go, against the current. So the current was going one way and all the dirt and debris was going down. It went straight across it, straight down the path where the little gap was. And then all these things happening right now, it is like perfect synchronicity. It makes sense, say, why the aura was purple, because purple is a color of, grounding, whatever it was. But the whole point is that there's a whole world out there that people don't even see. And it's right there, and anyone can access it with the right tools.
That's right. That's right. It's the way you are saying frequencies as well. The colors are actually depicted according to that as well, because red has very heavy frequency. That's why they kept it on root. And as you are going above, it's just the way we say that it gets lighter. And when we see the sky above as well, why it's blue? Because it has lighter frequencies and it's more transparent, it's not, blocking anything. That's why it's more clearer. And that's how they gave the name to the, colors, and then those names and those depictions was with chakras. And this is the most fascinating thing, that when we are talking about these frequencies, it's not just colors or the way you are using telekinesis. Youngsters, the children, can see it more clearly. They can see into even to the birds as well. I used to be fascinated that as soon as you come out and you put food, somehow birds will find it, isn't it? Animals will find it. And it's because it's a whole web. around us. We can't see it, but there are so many other animals, beings which can see that web, and they weave according to that. And that's why when whatever it picks up, it's like X-ray, isn't it? Whatever it picks up, it's your own frequency or energy, disrupting the other one, and that's how you see the outlines. It's it's as much you go into this, it's fascinating, and I think more and more people need to know that, so that they can work with it instead of thinking that everything is against them and it's not helping them.
Yeah, we then spoke about how dogs can see, not much color. And I was like, can dogs see the purple aura? Or if they're colorblind or not, can they just see like black or white aura? Because if it is literally just spectrums of light, then dogs must pick up on this stuff. And like babies can see things differently when their eyes aren't completely formed, and dogs can see certain stuff. But can they actually see all the different colors? Or is it just like general black and white shades that a dog can see?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, apparently they say they can see beige color, or sometimes they can't even see the grass as green. I really don't know, but yeah, they do say that cats have more perception than dogs. So cats can actually see the aura first. And so I always believe that they cannot even see you as a physical entity. They can see the higher spirit or soul, whatever you want to call it. They can see that, and that's how they respond to an individual as well.
Because they can't see the actual body.
It's somehow they of course they can see it because that's physical thing, but they have a little bit more, because the way we are saying that the aura meter reader, I think they have some kind of a thing like that, because aura is not just you, it's your higher self, it's your spirit, soul, whatever it is, that's the one which is radiating within you. Because if you listen to the near-death experience people, they always say that when they come out of their body, they cannot even recognize their own body, because it's the frequency of their own aura which creates our facial features as well. And I don't know if you have seen that. I saw in one of the videos where they was showing that there's a skeleton, there's a flesh, the whole structure of our muscles and fascia and everything. And then on top of it, they were changing just the frequencies of it. And that was changing the expressions of our faces, the whole completely faces of our, the way we look. And if you see people who have gone through a massive change, when we see before and after within a year, if they have gone through spiritual, ascendance or something like that, that creates their whole expression completely different. It changes because it's your own frequencies which change that expression. And I think that's why animals, a lot of them can just see that moving entity instead of the way we see expressions.
So, for example, if someone had a stroke and they were bedbound for months, their muscles aren't being used, their fascia isn't being stretched or whatever, so their face will look different. Is that what you're saying? Which means unless you've seen yourself in the mirror over the past months of you being bedbound, you're going to look like another person because you haven't seen the transformation. Just like if you see a friend every month, you don't realize they're getting older. But if you see a friend like from 10 years ago, they look like so old and so different.
Yeah, that's right. Because their frequencies change as well. Like a lot of people say, oh, you look a lot younger. Or a lot of people nowadays started saying, I made myself younger. Or I am, looking more radiant and glowing. It's natural. If you just have simple fever, if you're not well, you are sick, you will see your facial glow, your energy, everything changes, your expressions, your whole structure of your face. Yeah, the basic underneath the masculine, the way it's made, it's gonna be the same, but somehow you look different. And second, I believe that it's our perception as well. The way we say rose-colored glasses is a simple analogy. It's same like that when we are, for example, infatuated with someone or we are in love with someone, they look so beautiful, they look so radiant, it's a whole blur filter over the face, because that's our perception, which science has proved as well, that we are not actually seeing what is in front of us. We are perceiving it through the back of our mind. So they look perfect, but then slowly, once you fall out of love, and when the paths go different way, and then the same person, you can find so many flaws out of them. You're like, oh, that's not the same person I loved. That is just your own perception, and their own frequencies changes as well, which are not in alignment anymore.
I've never actually heard that before, so that's very interesting. So I don't believe in like face creams, because it's like you change the skin and the cells for the time you're using the creams, and then your cells will just die and rejuvenate. So is it doing anything? But what you're saying is that, you can change your face by understanding the frequencies of your fascia and whatever. You can change how your face looks just simply by vibration and how you feel. So if somebody feels great about life, often they'll look young. And if somebody's stressed and hates their life, they'll look old. So it's nothing to do with like the creams on the outside. It's to do with the inside. So if you control the frequency, then you can control how you look, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I work in a very busy airport, and I see people every day. We literally do people watching and this face reading. I was quite fascinated about it. But if you go back into the whole structure of it, I did a gathering with Farah about fascia, our own fascia, how it affects. People are more tend to, be a little bit more right side dominant as well. Then they're left side dominant. Then the way they think, the way they perceive, even though neuropsychology actually explains that a person, if their right eye is more lower, it's because their mother connection is not that strong. Tara Stewart talk about it as well. That she says that because our right eye is always connected to our parents, because when they are holding you, they always, the connection is through the eye towards your eye. So if you're holding the baby, here's the baby, so their right eye will be connected to the mother's right eye. And if you have been through abuse, and if you have been through a more worse time when you was young, their right eye droops more because it did not get that much, support. Same way it shows your bodily pains, your bodily effects, whatever is happening, it happens according to your own life experiences. If you are more in resentment, if you are more in pain, anger, whatever you're holding, wherever you're holding, it affects your expressions. It affects your facial features a lot. People who tend to have more, they are more happy, they are more radiant, they are more glowing. People who hold so much resentment, I don't know, maybe you might be able to perceive it more than anyone else, that you can feel it beforehand. If you see someone, you try to avoid certain people from far because they have very busy vibrations or frequencies, and that somehow affects your own perception as well.
So if someone has, say, a lazy eye from the lack of mother eye contact, can they change that by being aware of that and then doing the work, so then their eye simply goes up?
Yes. So I was quite fascinated about it, and I did work on myself as well. My right side was quite higher than my left side because I had more masculine energy, and my eyebrow always it still goes up. That's just natural. But I still hide my left side because that's my personal side, my feminine side. So that's my personal life. I always keep it hidden from others. And when I was learning this face reading and hold this topic, I understood that you tend to hide your one side. You are more confident on one side because this is right side is masculine. Right side is more your business, your personality outwards, and left side is your personal, your spiritual side. So you will see with a lot of people, you do change your expressions. It's just natural, isn't it? I used to have I was quite confused when I was growing up. And I remember I used to have short hair, then I made them a lot longer, then I started coloring them. But I have seen over the time how there was a time where I was not physically well, emotionally was not well. I looked a lot older than what I look now. Whether now I have gray hair, it's just the proud and pride within yourself, and you are happy with yourself. And you can see with everyone, people radiate completely different. They glow, they look younger. 80 years old people, if they are following their passion, they will look a lot more radiant, a lot more glowing. And it's not just that. You can, when you're talking to them, their aura, their vibration is so beautiful that you want to, just stay with them. And some people, if they are continuously, going through ranting about people, or they are confused or whatever, you tend to not to talk to them. And that shows in their expression. Very old quote by Roald Dahl, that a person is not beautiful by their looks. It's their thinking. Their thinking makes them beautiful or ugly. A person can have the widest teeth, massive nose, but they will look so loving because their inside is radiating that. Compared to a most beautiful person can come in front of you, and if they have attitude, and if they are not making you feel good, you are going to run 100 steps backwards. Then that person is not going to be beautiful for you. So that's your perception. But yes, you can change your features according to that, slowly, not intentionally, but it naturally changes itself.
Yeah, what's coming to mind is that person in the aura shop. she was saying the reason why, say, my friend's energy was red and grounded is because he shuts off when he's in the town. So he's going around people, he will shut down because we're empaths, and he doesn't want to connect to other people's energies. And then it came onto the conversation of, are we consciously becoming reserved and blocking our energy field, or are we doing it automatically because we've got used to doing that when we go into public places? So when we're out and about, it's almost like we're not looking to avoid people consciously. It's we have this trust that our energy will go that way if that energy will affect us on a quantum level. It's almost like we don't even have to think. We don't even have to see it. We just have to trust like where we're going is with similar energies to us rather than over there with the wrong energy. So it's almost like the universe is automatically doing everything.
And it's like a tribal mentality. We used to live in tribes. We were not used to of many people. It's just natural within us. The way we say we have our, the choices of food and everything, fight or flight mode. A lot of things we have carried from our ancestors. So if you're talking like that, so the tribal mentality actually is still alive there. Yes, we have wider cities, bigger cities. There are a lot of people now around us. A simple example, if I give you a paper and if I just write 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 6, 7 words in there or numbers, you will read them. But if I fill the whole paper with so many words and so many numbers, your brain is going to shut down. Your brain is not going to focus on anything. Then it will start finding maybe the highlighted or bold or different colored to focus on. That's how our mentality works. And that's why when we are in a massive crowd, our natural survival, or our survival skill is that it just basically starts blocking a lot of things because it wants to keep you safe. It's danger outside. So that's why your friend had that. But whereas you might be a lot confident within yourself, that your aura is that strong that nothing can penetrate it. So there are two sides of that. A person who is living in that, thought that anything can hurt me, anything can, that's in a survival mode, their body will learn to shut everything down and close them off. But whereas when you are so confident within yourself, so fine within yourself, then nothing can penetrate you and you create that massive aura. That's why we say all the wise ones, they don't walk around with protection. They just walk around and nothing can penetrate them. That's the confidence within itself. And that's why when I teach breath work and pranayamas, that creates that aura from within. That creates that those, old ladies thinking of, oh, I'm jinxed and someone did bad eye on me and someone did this and someone did that. That's nothing like that until you don't understand yourself. You have opened yourself so much. Bless you.
um, so back to the thing you said a few minutes ago, how like in space, everything knows what everything is. So we were coming back from Glastonbury, and the first person I fell in love with when I was 19, 20, pre-awakening, pre-healing Tourette's, she was in that part of my life, right? And haven't seen her since. On the way back from Glastonbury, it's a 5-hour journey. I've never been there before. The service station's never been there before. My friend says he needs to go to the toilet. So we plan to go to a service station, and we're going too quick, so we miss it. So we go to the next one. We go to the next one, we faff around, we get a coffee or whatever, and then we go to the toilet, and that person who I've not seen since I was 19 walks past me, and I just shout their name. So to me, when you understand all the variables for all the traffic, leaving late, leaving early, missing the service station, farting around in the car before we should have gone, like there's just so many variables to even try and work out how this is possible, unless, as you say, in like geolocation in space, if there is a energy that is already in connection or supposed to be in connection based on the same resonance, it will find a way to bring that together, like the soil and the seed, the water and the soil, the parasite and the water. Like if you keep following the feeling, all time adds up. The less time I took, the more time she needed. The more time I took, the less time she needed to balance it up. It is absolutely incredible that happened. Like that is one of the most incredible manifestations ever. But when you link it back to what you were saying, it's just science. It's just, well, that's how the universe works. What do you expect? If you like, oh yeah, I linked it to the bird thing. How do birds know that there's food there? It's almost like in the space, there is nothing. So no one's observed the food there. So when I say put the food down, I've observed that space. And you could say that the particles in that space act like a wave, right? The birds sense that now there is a wave frequencies instead of particle. And so they're like, oh, okay, something's in the space. Someone's observed it. Someone's put food down. Somebody has penetrated the space. And somehow maybe their nose can smell it, or maybe they can sense the location of where the observer was. So they go exactly to that place where the observer was. So in a massive container of space, everything's particle. Just over there by the bird food table, there's a wave. The wave is rippling out. Those birds across the whole world, because it goes around the whole world, can feel where that is, and they go straight there. The same as they know how to migrate and get exactly to, wherever they're going. It's just incredible. But when you understand the universe, that is just how it is and works. But nevertheless, it's still incredible when this stuff happens, when we operate mainly in a physical form and we forget there's a whole world in the spiritual form.
That's right. I think this is what we are taught to do. We are taught to, not to believe in what's happening within yourself. We are taught to believe in the outside, validations. And that's why we are more confused, more, that dysregulated, because we have more trust outside than ourselves. But these little things are always your reminder to tell you, if you observe enough, that's another thing. If you are observing enough, if you're not observing, then it's just another day-to-day life. You are just going to work, you're waking up, you're looking at your phone, you're following whatever the matrix or system wants you to do. But as soon as you hold, you pause, and you create that that empty space, and you just, the way nowadays they do that, there's one person standing and all of a sudden the 360 camera goes around. If you actually observe, then you will see how much fascinating things are happening around you, because we are just made to just look through, screens and everything. Our perception has gone so smaller. But yeah, I always, I experimented. I used to wake up and I could hear the birds trying, because they know the timings as well. They don't have clocks. They know the timing. She woke up and they know the timing. Okay, she's opening the door. She's going in the garage, getting the food, and she's putting it out. They won't touch the ground. They won't come down until you haven't, put the food there. So it's just, and another thing, the days if I am tired or if I am a bit dysregulated emotionally, they won't come down until I go inside, until I don't leave the space. Somehow
Wow.
my vibrations or frequencies might be that stronger for them that gives them the danger kind of a feeling. And some days, like most of the times when I go out, I put the food, I'm happy, they are happy, and they will come down. I'm doing my Surya Namaskar, I'm sitting, I'm doing my meditation, moving around. They will happily will eat their food. They won't even get disturbed, as we see that whenever you move, the birds start flying. They won't. But the certain days I have seen that as soon as you're dysregulated, somehow they are not going to feel safe with you. They will just go.
You should do a test. You should put the food down an hour or 2 hours before and see if they pick it up, or are they just operating on like the position of the sun or something, or the amount of light in the atmosphere to know. So as the sun moves, they should be able to see like different light shades and frequencies, and they must like know that when it's this dark in space or light in space, that this is when the food comes. But if you give it out a few hours before, it'd be a good experiment. Are they operating on a whole new thing, or is it just pure energy? If it's pure energy, then they'll know when you've come down 2 hours before. If it isn't that, and it's just the light or the sun or whatever, then it'll be that, just as a fun experiment,
It will be, actually. It is a really good experiment to do, because it's something which gives you so much of insight. Yeah, I will try that, because I normally have the same routine when it comes summer come winter. So it will be good that if I actually do that.
It's the same as when a dog knows the owner's coming home. It's sat at the window knowing that the owner's coming. And a little experiment for that could be is you send out the thought that you're coming home, and then you watch the dog on, say, a camera in the room getting up to the window, but then you don't come home until later, and you see if the dog just goes back to bed, if he gets up an hour later, if he gets confused, or if he doesn't actually get up because he's responding to the thought of I'm going to be an hour late versus, oh, they're normally back at this time. I mean, all this stuff is just, it's so fun in itself just to experiment. Like, that provides purpose for a couple of weeks, just doing that for no reason than just like personal amusement. Because back in the day, what was there to do? There wasn't TVs and stuff. It was just trying to look at the stars and see a spaceship. Like, it's just fun stuff. Like, we're missing out on fun stuff, occupied with stuff that doesn't provide really any soul nourishment anymore.
That's right, and that's why I believe that's why inventions or experiments were done more at that time, because people had more time to observe and to react and to be impressed by. Nowadays, whether someone comes up with some new invention as well, it will be just to make your life a lot easier, but they are not that kind of experiments or inventions happening anymore the way it was, isn't it? Like, life changing. The whole thoughts and everything happened at that time. Now it's, I don't know, now nothing new is happening.
What's your thoughts on the AI thing? So, you say the fascia changes, your face changes in the mirror. Can AI see that difference, and will it still work? Or would you have to do another selfie face verification based on the new face?
I don't think so. AI takes your face. They say face recognition, but I think they do more your retina and cornea recognition. Because yes, it does pick up, but that as well. If you see, all of our technological, even though the screens and everything, they work in that the square patterns. It has those intersections where it picks it up. So same way, the way people create art with squares and lines, I think it's like that picks up those intersections instead of actually taking the outlines of your face, because so many times you're wearing sunglasses and a lot of things and it still picks up your face, isn't it? So I think it goes more with your eyes than anything else. This is what I think.
Art. Yeah, I haven't thought about that for a very long time. So when people do art, they section it and you just do each square.
Yeah.
And then the whole thing becomes a photo at the end of it.
Mm.
Wow.
Yeah, because I don't know, I was just fascinated about the screens as well, why the touch screen works like that. And they explain everything, like they have intersections, they have really tiny, the way we say pixels. They are really tiny, and that's how wherever you click, that's how the programming works. You click there, and that activates that particular program. So that's why it's vast programming on the background. But that's how it picks it up. Your touch screens, even though it's a fascinating fun fact that there are more wider pixels in a McDonald's touch screen than our phone. Our phones and our other devices has very, very fine, graph, which picks it up a lot more than just normal click here and then on. So it's quite fascinating. And when you break it down to our matrix, as they say, this is illusion, this is all created. So many times I feel that a lot of people say we are in simulation, and if it is like that, then of course there are very fine pixels we are working with.
Okay. If you had one day left to live, what is the one thing that you would tell the rest of the world?
If I have one day left, I will, first of all, seriously, I want everyone to know breathing, because we came with breath and we are going to die without it. And in between, whatever we are doing, we are taking that thing for granted. And we need to, seriously, I urge everyone, we need to focus on that, because that creates a whole different awareness in your confidence, in your personality, in your own growth, in your environment. Even when people say that I have, more concerning environment around me, you can change everything just with breath.
Yeah. Is there anything you wish to promote or plug before we finish?
That's all. Just be aware of yourself first. Don't give power. This is what my biggest USP is, why I really teach everyone. Don't fall for anything. Don't give anyone power, not even me. You have your own power. You have your own higher self who is working with you, who is working within you. No entity, no God, no ghost, nothing is that strong than you. So once you are going to realize that, instead of looking outwards, look within and find yourself. Until you don't know yourself, you cannot know anyone or anything outside.
Thanks for listening. If you like this episode, please remember to subscribe, turn the bell notifications on, like the episode, and comment below. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's YesKingOliver. Take a look at the other videos to your side. And if you just want to listen to this podcast, you can do so on Apple and Spotify and most other platforms by going to talkwitholiver.com.